Are you
Okay.
seeing the, is it right? Okay, let's start then.
All right. Because of the time, let's just jump in. In this presentation, we will focus on the crossroads of digital vigilantism, which asserts alternative forms of masculinity and aesthetics associated with a place called Shinjuku Kabukicho, Tokyo. Shinjuku Kabukicho is the largest entertainment district in Japan, home to a large number of outlets specializing in diverse sexual services. Since prostitution is illegal in Japan, on the one hand, the district offers the underworld of borderline illegal businesses emanating the image of criminality and deviance. On the other hand, the image of transgression is also an important asset to this town, attracting certain customers and residents. We will present a case of a group of men who act as vigilante YouTubers, and their careers build on Shinjuku aesthetics and attention economy.
So these are the group of people that we conducted field work is called Tokyo Avengers. This is of course pseudonym, and also please also note that the people in the picture are not necessarily our informants. So Tokyo Avengers is a sort of like loosely connected network of YouTubers. Each of them has their own YouTube videos. And just like normal YouTubers, they basically, cherish collaboration, helping each other's, filming, uploading, editing of their videos. Also, they appear in each other's videos so that they can enhance each other's visibility. The vigilante YouTuber is a job properly, and this is actually a field of dreams. One of our informants told us that like he was earning 5 million yen, which is approximately 27,000 euros per month. So this is actually a very rewarding job. What they do is they basically target street criminals, but in the Japanese case, it is sexual offenders such as gropers, upscalers in public spaces, especially train stations, while some of them are specialized in confronting with financial criminals, such as those people who engage with running, scamming schemes.
So, coping with hegemonic masculinity in neoliberal Japan. This study is built on our previous research, which discussed Tokyo Avengers who found their own path of legitimizing masculinities to cope with their marginality in Japanese society. The previous study mostly analyzed the vigilantes' online activities and how they present themselves. And this study focuses on the offline aspects of their lives. They're confronted with the so-called salaryman masculinity. Let me explain. Salaryman refers to a Japanese white-collar corporate worker, typically with a stable employment contract. Salaryman is a hegemonic ideal of masculinities widely accepted in Japanese society, which is often considered the most legitimate form, which is expressed, as I quote, middle-class, university-educated, middle-aged man with a dependent wife and children to support, working for an organization offering such benefits as secure lifetime employment. This stable, secure, and reliable provider image became a dominant ideal of manhood in Japan. However, under a neoliberal economy, the stability of secure employment has declined significantly, and Japan has observed a decline in salaryman masculinity, although the ideal image remains entrenched.
So in a nutshell, our discussion in our previous paper is that those YouTubers, they are not explicitly like affiliated with any sort of politics, but still we argue that this is a kind of like political movement, for those marginalized men to challenge and assert their own version of masculinity because because of their poor background, the lack of education, and sometimes criminal record, they do not really have access to hegemonic salaryman masculinity. And platform YouTube, give them an alternative way to money and recognition. But while we are doing the analysis, we realize that actually, even though they are quite tech-savvy people, obviously, but like offline spaces, and especially the Shinjuku district plays a very important role for them to construct their own version of masculinity. So the research question is, what is the role of an offline space, Shinjuku, in the construction of vigilante YouTubers old masculinity? As Yoko-san already mentioned, the Shinjuku place city has been associated with sex industry and criminality, and that image has been sort of like quite widely known through cultural contents circulating in Japan.
So let's move on to the theoretical framework of this study. Shinjuku Kabukicho as a space, not a place. We conceptualize Shinjuku aesthetics based on two theoretical frames. One is Stuart Hall's use of floating signifier to explain that a word or concept does not have a fixed or natural universal meaning. Its meaning floats and is constantly redefined by culture, history, and power dynamics. And the meaning is, of course, socially constructed and discursive. This truly applies to Shinjuku Kabukicho. The laws for operating sexual services constantly change in Japan accordingly, but people expect to do, or how they do, also accommodate the changes. Accordingly, the appearance of the city also changes in a relatively short term. The second theoretical frame is Mirza Tersek's aesthetic space, which is based on Schiller's concept of the aesthetic state of mind. She builds the theory on experience and space production. So what one does in a space is more important than the physical place itself. The space is enacted by people. And our research subjects operate under a set of rational or aesthetics of deviance. To them, Shinjuku Kabukicho symbolizes a space which is full of people's desire, lots of shady money, alcohol, drugs, underground and illegal activities, which are in a way outside the frame of a respectable masculine image associated with the salaryman. So let's move on to data and methods. We conducted ethnography involving 11 interviews with 6 vigilantes aged between 20s and 40s from August 2023 to July 2025, of which we conducted walking biographical interviews with 2 vigilantes. We also visited their living and working spaces. Interestingly, although they are active online, uploading YouTube videos and TikTok videos, they also publish physical books, and we also use them as data. For this, we use publications from 4 vigilantes. Some of the vigilantes are quite well known, and they are publicly available online materials, such as interviews with media reporters and videos created by other YouTubers. To analyze our data, we used thematic analysis. Boys' playground. So Shinjuku Kabukicho space is literally the boys' playground for our research participants. The affordances of non-ordinary aesthetics tools are critical features of the space. They are conditions that make up this special environment in which Tokyo Avengers do their vigilantism. At the same time, it's important to understand that Shinjuku Kabukicho is a liminal space. It has its own rules. regular rules don't apply. One of the features is its shady neighbors. This town attracts customers and residents who engage in borderline illegal business activities. So this space offers the affect of transgressions, and it's also easy to engage with the transgressions and deviant behaviors. So you don't quite stand out. The second point, the Yakuza-looking landlord is flexible in terms of the rental arrangements. If you're short on cash this month, you can negotiate with him. Probably he will give you some time. Next month is good enough for him. So there is a lot of flexibility there.
Another important factor is proximity to sex industry and sex workers. So one of the reasons that this is important is that the vigilantes themselves, especially when they are not necessarily successful, they can work for a sex industry themselves. And in a way, like this is, an enabler of their non-mainstream masculine way of life. Another, reason that this is advantageous for them is that sometimes, female sex workers who earn a lot of money in that Shinjuku district are willing to provide accommodation or a stipend for these vigilante YouTubers as their kept men. And again, like this is, completely an opposite way of an idealized men's life in Japan, because in Japan, men are supposed to be a breadwinner, not a kept man of women. Proximity to job opportunities are quite helpful for vigilantes to survive, and they can offer their skills of filming and editing their videos to other people so that they can keep going. As, for example, pornography director or vigilantes, other vigilantes are living in the same apartment, and they are sort of like offering each other jobs so that they can thrive each other. And finally, Yakuza-looking landlord was quite understanding, for the vigilantes, and he offered a small space in his apartment, so that the boys can gather around, drink, conspire for the next step, and to have a sort of like homosocial space in their living environment. But the relationship between the town and vigilantes is not always rosy, and it's more complicated. So I would like to use a case of a vigilante that we call Sigma. It's his stage name, basically. So Sigma used to be a criminal himself. And when he was a criminal, he went to Kabukicho, Shinjuku quite often. He enjoyed the town as a town of desire, where he can fulfill his desire for delicious food or beautiful women or things like that. But after that, he was imprisoned, and according to him, he developed some redeemed self while he was in prison. And after getting out of the being released from the prison, he started his vigilante activities because of as a part of his effort to assert and consolidate his redeemed self. We conducted a walking interview with him, and what was really interesting was that the sense of distance and disgust even toward the place sort of like consolidates his identity as a changed man. For example, Sigma said, watching people in the crowd at Toyoko, one street in Kabukicho, Shinjuku, I think long time ago I could have felt, oh, it looks so much fun when I was still a criminal. But now I started to look at them differently and wonder if they have any purposes in life, or what makes them feel fun, or what ikigai do they have. Ikigai is a sort of like sense of fulfillment in Japanese, or if they have any goals in the future. So I admit it changed of state of mind, but when I was a criminal, I thought I was having a lot of fun. So he's, the phantom feeling that did not really exist at the time of interview, but which had existed in the far past, or makes him believe that he's a changed man. He's now a proper vigilante. And it's also about the sort of like bodily sensation as well. As we walked around, he was talking about the summer in Kabukicho Shinjuku. It's smelly in summer. There are rats everywhere. There is filth rolling around. Anyway, it's so smelly that I don't like it today. Long time ago, I liked Kabukicho, but I stopped visiting this town. I really wonder today why I wanted to come to a town like this every day. So again, the sort of like changed feeling experiences about the sensational reaction to Kabukicho consolidate his vigilante identity.
Yes, so the same place has a very different impression to him, and he expressed as he walked his sense of growth and maturity as a vigilante YouTuber. He says, here is in front of Shinjuku City Hall. In front of the City Hall, there is a parking area, and this is a legendary spot where the battle with such and such group unfolded. He's referring to a feminist group that he was having a problem with. And this is the origin. Compared to that time, my crime eradication activities prepared me to act confidently without fear. So I think experience is crucial. So his narrative indicated that his YouTuber activity as a form of redemption from his past self. The town consolidates the narrative of redeemed self by evoking a sense of distance from the past self by phantom joys and sensations. So let's move to conclusion. So to construct alt masculinity, the space of Shinjuku plays an important role, of course, and not only materialistic roles, but also cultural and social meanings of the space contribute to securing the liminal space from the hegemonic masculinity. And it relates to Tarsik's aesthetic space. In a way, the space of Shinjuku Kabukicho offers the extraordinariness against which they are fighting. At the same time, it validates them and protects them.
And also, it is important to note that they are not necessarily a passive consumer of already, circulating images of Kabukicho or Shinjuku. The experienced liminality of the town is created as a result of the interplay between the images of, the vague liminal deviant space and the individual's meaning-making process, which involves biographical trajectories. So sorry about this cheeky QR code, but if you are interested in our previous research, please maybe take a look at this if you have a chance. Thank you so much.